Wake up and realize I waste so much time. I pick up pieces even though it can be fixed. It can be fixed. Should've left you from the start. I'm feeling low and weak. I'm losing energy. I run away. The same was left to me. All these toxic traits, not worth the wait. I feel heavy for days. Been bending my way. Almost forgot what's right. I'ma change tonight. I feel heavy for days. I've been bending my way. Almost forgot what's right. Trying to change tonight. I'm feeling lonely. I'm losing energy. I want just to say what's left to me. Tired of toxic traits, not worth the wait.